Hello and welcome to the Super Businesswoman Show here on Intellectual Radio. It's your girl, CEO Lexi Couture with All Things Couture, and I am joined here today with my lovely co-host.
Hi there, it's Sharon Locke. Happy Bay Saturday.
Bay Saturday.
She's performing tonight. It's her Saturday. Beyonce.
I was so confused. I was lost.
She's
what
a
is
B. And you didn't know Bay was performing tonight?
I thought it was pronounced B, but just spelled B-E-Y. So that's why I was super confused, because I'm like, if somebody asked me about Mother's Day, like, was the day after, like, for the side baby mama or something like that, and then Valentine's Day, the 15th. So I was like, am I missing something? What is Bay Saturday? Am I missing a holiday?
No,
somebody needs to take me out to dinner. It's
well,
Bay
you're a
Saturday,
wife, so you get the premium and the
I'm
only holiday.
I'm putting it out there for Bay Saturday. Take me out to dinner.
You want to be in all that traffic? Have you seen downtown?
No, I'm not going downtown.
Oh,
I'm gonna
okay.
stay over here and
Okay.
away from the beehive.
The beehives, yeah, because they're buzzing, baby. It's busy.
And let us mind our manners. We also have our special guest joining us today, Miss Ashley Nicole Fox.
Yes, thank you.
Welcome.
Thank you for having me.
Welcome, Ashley. Ashley's poised and probably think we're lunatics.
I don't. I'm here for it all. I love it.
She's like, she came in like a whirlwind. She did 50 things.
You know what? With etiquette, we do not judge. Okay.
Okay.
We appreciate that here. Thank you.
We need the grace.
So let me give you a warm welcome to the Super Businesswoman Show. Thank you so much for joining us. I think what you do is amazing.
Thank you.
I do want to give you a proper introduction. Let's drum roll. Ashley Nicole Fox is a dynamic entrepreneur and the visionary behind the VPS Etiquette program and Vintage Place Settings, a premier fine dining rental service based in Chicago. With a career spanning over 15 years in event planning, Ashley has curated countless artistic and elaborate celebrations across Illinois, Georgia, Florida, and Puerto Rico. Her journey took a transformative turn when she was entrusted with taking over a leading vintage rental company in Chicago, seamlessly integrating it into her event planning business. Through her ventures, Ashley emphasizes the importance of etiquette, confidence, and character building, aiming to create magical experiences that leave lasting impressions.
Well, Ashley, I must say, you look 15.
I do.
You do.
Absolutely.
Well, that's good.
Absolutely.
I love to keep it fresh. Thank
Yes.
you.
Yes.
I'm nowhere near 15, but yes, I'll take it.
A blessing.
When she sent her picture for the flyer, I was like, she is one of my babies.
The babies.
Yes. Very youthful.
Yes.
We
I
can
like
bottle
that.
that up.
So when you
sell
said
that.
she has 15 years of experience, I'm like, what is she doing?
She was just a toddler starting her business.
Yeah, no, I am of older age.
Hey,
Well, you are beauty age because
I
there's not a
appreciate that.
crack in there.
Thank you so much.
Is the secret the etiquette? Is it the charm school thing? What is it?
You know what? I don't think so. I think that I inherited from my mother.
We're gonna
Good
shout out
stuff.
genetics. I know that's right.
Absolutely, Gail Fox.
That
You are
makes-
phenomenal. Thank you. My father as well.
Wait a minute. Did you say Kim Fox?
No, Gail Fox.
Oh, okay.
Gail Fox.
Okay. I'm like, that's a familiar name. Okay. Gail Fox.
Mhm.
Shout out to mommy because you have great genes.
There's usually somebody that knows somebody on our show. So who was it that knew her?
Tadora,
Tadora.
my girlfriend.
Oh,
Tadora.
absolutely. I love her. Hi, Dora. Thank you.
She's been a special guest and a special guest co-host. So and when I said
Mhm.
your name, she was like, "Oh, Ashley," so
She is unreal.
Yeah, she told us the same
Unreal.
thing about you. She was like, I love her. She's done everything for me. I was like, okay.
Yes, we have a history.
Good stuff.
Yes, I love it.
All right, well,
stuff.
we can get right into the questions. So, Ashley, can you share the story of how you began your journey in event planning and what inspired you to start Ashley Nicole Fox Events? Was that your event? That's the event. That's another business. I forgot to put that on.
That is
Oh, my
another
bad.
business.
I forgot to put that on the stuff, you guys. We're going to plug all these businesses. So again, can you share the story of how you began your journey in event planning and what inspired you to start Ashley Nicole Fox Events?
Okay. So originally, I started doing events for friends and family, and I just had a knack for it, I guess. I'm very crafty and I like things neat and perfect. So that's always been a top.
OCD?
Uh, I've not been diagnosed. However,
I'm not claiming that. I just like things to look nice.
Well, my
Absolutely.
sister they're always trying to shovel that on me because I can be in a room and I'm like, okay, well, that needs to be done. That needs to be done. That's me. Like
you
I
see
can,
the details.
yes, the details.
Absolutely. So that is where I'm at too. And that's actually considered to be not so good. I found out.
It is
I
because
found
it's a
out.
constant critique. Yes, you're
So
never satisfied. It's a constant critique.
absolutely,
I know. I've been there.
absolutely. So I'm learning that that perfectionist in me, I need to kind of calm that down so that I can
So
be a better person.
let me tell you,
Mhm.
I rebuffed against counseling when they were trying to tell me I needed to deal with that because I like that part of me.
You do.
I do. I like the fact that I can see details and no one else could see.
Mhm.
Now, what I have to do is if I'm at my sister's house or my mom's house or my girlfriend's house, I'm always like, hey, do me a favor, go get a tile. So, and put some
Mhm.
soap on it. Or
Mhm.
can you bring a broom? Or do you have a small brush so I can get it
Mhm.
out the corner?
Mhm.
So that's kind of how I am. I'm working on that component of it.
Mhm.
But I like being able to see details. It sets me apart. It makes me different. It made me a great underwriter.
Absolutely. I enjoy that part too. But the part that I do not enjoy is the overthinking part.
Yes.
The procrastinating part.
Yes.
And not that I procrastinate to where I don't do the things that I need to have done. It's just that I don't um, put things out unless they're perfect in
That's
my
me.
eyes.
That's me.
I do not release it to anyone or even a thought.
Or I
I
won't
like
have
to.
it. Not so much the thought because I'll fly off with the thoughts.
Mhm.
But for me, if there's an event that's transpiring, I would prefer not to have it if it's not going to be perfect.
Yeah.
I would prefer just not to have it.
Mhm.
And people think that's me taking over, and it's really not. I just need it to be a certain way in order for me to participate.
Mhm. And those are standards, and it's okay to have
I,
those.
I agree.
I don't think it's a terribly bad thing in creative arts to be a perfectionist. Now, I understand the stress behind it and the overthinking part, but however, as a designer and all the things that I do on my end, I only put out my best.
Absolutely.
So I get that it can be like, oh, you're overthinking and things like that, but I think so many years of doing it now, I'm just at that point where it's just like when I put a design together, I know like, bam, that one's perfect. That one's the one. I don't know if perfection is like, maybe in certain aspects, but I feel like when you're creating something, that's like you said, it's a standard in a sense to yourself. And
Mhm.
when you're running a business, you don't want to put out just any old product or any old design or any, your table needs to look beautiful.
The
For sure.
problem that I have is that when I see people putting things out or doing things, and I'm thinking, you didn't see that before you put it out, or you think that that's something classy, or those are the thoughts. I don't say them, but those are the thoughts.
She's thinking it,
Well, it's a
guys.
good thing you don't say
Yeah,
it. That's very good. Good
I'm
etiquette.
learning that part. I'm learning to pull it back because, as a kid, I used to just like open the floodgates. And my mother used to say, you don't say everything you're thinking. I went to charm school, so that I got in trouble a lot with that. You don't say everything you're thinking.
Mhm.
We're gonna circle back because we went down the street. We're gonna come back. We're gonna come back. So,
Alright.
how did you begin the journey? Tell us what the inspiration was.
So working with my friends and family, being creative, just crafting and things like that. I just had a knack for it, and I took that and ran with it. I built a lot of relationships and collected a lot of resources from that as well. And all my businesses that I've ever had, I just kind of trickle them over to another direction, and they all are just underneath one umbrella.
Smart.
That makes sense.
I have
It sounds very familiar.
Yes, I resemble that remark.
Well, that's how
Smart.
we grow. That's how we
Yes.
grow. I
So,
love that.
Ashley, what motivated you to take over the vintage rental company, and how did that opportunity come about?
Okay. So, with my event business, I used to rent from vintage place settings. And they enjoyed, they said that I was very youthful. It was two older ladies that were friends, and they wanted to expand on what they had already established, but it was more so a hobby for them. So I guess they saw what I was doing with the events, and they always complimented me on the different things that I would put together, and they thought that I would be a good fit. Long story short, they sold me the business and I took over from there. So it's very appropriate, obviously, because I do the events and now I have the
Absolutely.
things that I can just pull out whenever I want.
Absolutely.
Just
Can't
saying,
get any better
being
than
a
that.
perfectionist gave her an opportunity.
It gave me more opportunities to overwhelm me with
I
other
like
things,
that.
with other responsibilities. But
I like that.
Just saying, 1 point for the perfectionist over here.
for sure. Now it's in my control, and I
Right.
can do the things
You
that I
know,
need to
she
do.
said something that triggered me.
Okay.
She
goodness.
said that she procrastinates.
We're not going
I
to talk about that.
resemble that
Look.
remark. And I wonder, is it under the umbrella of what we always say?
Look, I know I've been diagnosed with ADHD, but look, we're not diagnosing Ashley. We're gonna let her be great.
Oh,
No, I was
please.
just talking about us.
No, but I've been doing so much better. I promise.
But it's so funny that the word procrastination, people think that just because you are a procrastinator means that you don't get things done.
That's you get it done at a higher
it's
level.
far from that.
Yes.
Mhm. Yeah.
I just like a little pressure.
When I'm backed
On
into
myself.
a corner, oh my
I like
God.
a little
I
pressure.
think, yeah, like
Like,
last
ooh.
minute little
Yeah, give me a
changes
little.
kind of give
Yeah.
you a rush. For sure.
It does.
People
It's
ask me-
almost like a high. It
Yeah.
is.
When I have all the whole month to do something, it's like, I'll get around to it.
24 hours. Yeah. You know what? I'll stay up all night. I'll get it done. I'm making these phone calls. I'm making things happen. There's a certain feeling that goes
Yeah.
with that.
Yeah.
I don't understand it.
We put out good work, guys. That's what's important.
Absolutely.
Excellent work.
At all
Amazing.
By any
Yes.
means necessary.
So that's the drive behind it, because I will go through to any length to get it done. If it's 24 hours, I have to stay up. If it's 48 hours, I am going to make it happen.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
And it's going to be at a high quality, no matter what.
Mhm.
Absolutely. I agree.
And I'm sure anybody that works with you, it shows. Same as me, my clientele have shown a lot of appreciation for the details that I pay attention to, and the time that I put into things, because I do put in extra time to make sure that it's extra special for everyone. So,
That's amazing.
I don't think my loved ones like the pressure that I put them under.
oh yeah, well they see another side of us, right?
Right.
They're understanding, and that's a blessing.
They're overstanding.
overstanding, and thank you to my husband and my family. I love you guys.
I don't think I impact them enough. You know what? I'm gonna
think
make
you
some
do.
changes now. Oh no,
You don't think
I'm
you
too
impact-
accommodating. No.
Yeah, you're sitting here thinking
No.
you're too accommodating.
I'm extremely accommodating when it comes to them. But I mean, that's a good balance for me. But no, absolutely, I don't put them out to no. Like I know
I get them involved. I don't. Put
no,
them
I'm just
out
saying,
per
like,
se.
would they again? Okay, we're gonna put some notes together for mine. Y'all gonna get to work.
Oh yeah.
Okay, I see. All right. I've been too easy on mine. Apparently,
I don't think so, Lex.
I know I have.
You know you have.
I know. I
So
have.
when you're under pressure, when you have a deadline, your back's against the wall, you've waited to the last minute, you have no choice but produce a high quality product. They don't feel the tension,
No, because I'm in my office.
but then you can't be bothered, right? Because you're under.
But I make sure that everything is fine and okay
Oh yeah, you're accommodating.
before
Because you better
yeah,
swallow spit when I'm under a
I
deadline.
make
And
sure
get
ev-
ready for anything, right? Be ready.
If you're hungry, swallow spit. If you need a hug, you got two arms. That's
But see,
I'll get you
Until I'm
afterwards.
ready.
Right.
but see, they've also learned how to cook and things like that younger. So in oh, God bless the air fryer. So when we have those nights,
Even the hubby too.
when he knows how to survive. He's grown, but when the little ones, yeah, they know how to turn the air fryer on. If we have one of those nights, and I said it's every man for itself day, they understand that.
Oh, see, no. If I say I'm gonna cook, he's looking at me like.
Mhm.
So the pressure to get that done and the other stuff is enormous.
And see, I cook elaborate meals, so
no.
it takes hours for prep, and it takes hours to get it done, and then it lasts for a couple of days. So. Again, it's more of just prepping. But if there is one of them days where it's just like, oh, guys, no, I just like a client, I need some last minute, and they paid that rush fee. look, guys, we're gonna order this pizza. I'll make these burgers or something. It's build your own burger bar. I do that, or build your own taco bar. Like I'll just get everything ready, and then
At
I
least you're getting it ready.
run
because
off into the office, and
You heard what I said. Swallow your spit.
Yeah, I
Use your-
zone in as well.
Use your
I
2
zone
arms.
in
Give
as well.
yourself a hug.
Oh.
If you need to talk, record it. That's kind of how I am.
I'm hearing myself through her. Now I'm like, oh God, is that really me?
you guys don't make them babies a sandwich. No, coming over there.
Listen, anytime you can dial the phone and you got a girlfriend or a boyfriend, you need to be able to fix your own self a sandwich or swallow some
Yes.
spit.
That's true. Well, and DoorDash has been an amazing friend.
Oh
for
my
me.
God!
I have
Listen,
yet
I
to
need
use
to
that.
invest in. I need to invest in Grubhub and DoorDash and Instacart because there are frequent
Yes.
flyers at my house apparently with these
I
kids.
forget about Instacart, and I know it's actually cheaper than doing DoorDash, but I'm so used to DoorDash for like the convenience, the quick things,
Mhm.
and even
Well-
groceries. Some of them charge the same prices, but Instacart's usually a little bit cheaper.
So I use DoorDash when I want a variety of whatever. So if I want to expand, I use DoorDash. Like if I want something from, I'm doing a bathroom and I want something from Home Goods, I'll go on DoorDash. If I want,
right.
yeah, if I want something from like Home Depot, or it's not Home Depot, it's on Lowe's, I'll go on DoorDash. Instacart is restricted to they don't have as their brands aren't as expansive as
Well, for grocery shopping, I mean, like they come in clutch for grocery shopping.
Instacart.
But Instacart is more professional because when I deal with DoorDash, I have to watch my phone, and it frustrates me because it's like I don't want to do the shopping. Just pick because they give you the substitutes and things like that.
You can go in and pick the substitutes.
I know. But I've had people actually send me pictures
Yeah.
with the product
They
that they
do that.
said there's not there in the picture and the substitute and the same thing. And I'm like,
There's a
"What?
picture.
It's right in the picture. I save the picture, send it back to them with a circle around it. Like it's that right there.
Oh, wow.
So, but Instacart, they're a little bit better.
Because I've sent
DoorDash
to
would
the
make me pull
Instacart
my
and
hair
said,
out.
if I wanted to shop, I would have joined.
Yeah.
So I
And then
hate
they'll be
that.
like, "Your substitute's not available." I had that happen when we were making tacos one night, and the meat got everything else.
But it was my fault. I did that before.
We got everything but the meat.
I was cooking tacos and I had forgotten the sauce. I wanted some salsa, and so I ordered the salsa. I ordered the onions, and I forgot the sour cream. So I paid 2 Instacart fees
Oh no.
because I wanted to finish those tacos.
No, what I'm saying is my DoorDasher looked at my order that had tortillas, lettuce, tomato, sour cream, taco sauce, cheese, shredded, everything that goes for taco night.
And forgot.
Tortilla chips, salsa, rice, everything is in this whole order. And they were like, "Oh, we're not even going to try to substitute the meat." And I don't eat meat, so for me, it's just like whatever.
Right.
I'm just going to eat it anyways.
Right.
But I was like, "Oh, okay, all right," and I had to go out and actually get the meat because it's like, what are we going to do at this point?
So I kept cooking and I just ordered the sour cream.
See, I could do
So
it.
I paid another.
I could do it
fee.
without sour cream now. But the
Well, I
meat didn't
wanted
make
it.
sense. The
No.
kids are sitting there like, "Come on now, what type of taco is this?"
You like just chew on the vegetables. Just chew the
Right.
vegetables.
We're just gonna have these vegan tacos tonight for everyone.
I love tacos, by the way.
Ashley. She's like, y'all
Ashley's
keep
like,
talking about
just
food.
by the way, since you're bringing it up, not that you're hungry or anything. You just like,
Yes, I'm not. I am kind of hungry a little bit, but
Okay, well, tacos afterwards.
yay.
So, Ashley, how have your personal experience, such as motherhood and marriage, influenced your approach to business? I feel like we just talked about this. But give us the beautiful part, the beautiful
The
aspect.
beautiful part is that I have 3 wonderful children. And with the etiquette classes, a lot of what inspired me to do that is them, because I homeschool them and I wanted to have a community for them of like-minded parents and like-minded children so that we can create, a safe environment for them all, if you will. And what I mean by safe is that no bullying, no fighting, no vulgar language, and all the things that we witness outside the classroom. Just somewhere for them to be themselves and be comfortable in that. Also, my daughter is very encouraging as well. For her, it's my youngest, and for her, I really try to resemble a woman of pride, a woman of structure, and a woman who is fearless of whatever she's doing, whether she knows what she's doing or not. She holds her head high and she just gets it done. So, oh wow, that was really good.
She's like,
That's true.
that's
from
a
my heart.
quotable right there.
The sex of your children are all girls.
No, so I have two boys. So Chase, he's 12.
Okay.
Mason is in the middle. He just turned 7, and Olivia Rose is 4.
Okay.
I love that. I love
you're
And
young
she's
enough
my
to
rainbow
speak for-
baby.
So,
So she's
You're
yeah.
you're young enough to be having kids, so you're still youthful, like we said. Yes.
I'm youthful, but I am a lot older than I think you assume.
Really?
I am.
Well, that's a good thing.
And happy,
Again, shout out
happy
mother.
belated birthday to what was
Mason.
Mason.
When
When
Happy
is
belated
Mason's
birthday.
birthday?
His birthday is May 12th, and it was on Mother's Day this year.
Aw.
Or no,
it was
the
the
day
day
after.
after.
Mother's
Well,
Day.
happy birthday, Mason, and I love that name.
Yay. Mason Anthony is his name.
Aw.
Olivia Rose and Chase Alexander.
Okay.
Even the names have etiquette. Like,
Yeah.
period.
they have purpose. Let's put
yeah,
it
I
like
did that
that.
too.
Mhm.
I wanted to name my son a different name. All of them had different names, but when I broke down the meaning and the flow of them, I changed the name.
Mm. Mhm.
Makes
Names
sense.
are important. to
Names
me.
are extremely important. The
Absolutely.
names
Very
I
important.
chose were names that I wanted to be I wanted it to, when you wrote it on the paper, that they could not tell our ethnicity. I
Mhm.
wanted them to be judged based off of who they are,
Mhm.
not, necessarily what race they are.
Absolutely.
So that's what I kept in mind when I was naming
May I
them.
speak on that?
Absolutely.
I did the same with my business. So prior to me owning Vintage Place Settings, it was 2 older white women, and they had the business already established. So going into that, I just kept it simple. Their faces were not identifiable, if you will, or whatever. But so I just kept that, neutral. So when I show up to events, like I had an event today, I had to drop off some glassware. They're always shocked, like, "Oh, you're Ashley." I'm like, "Yeah, I'm Ashley." So I don't know if it's just I know that they don't assume that a Black woman will own a vintage rental business, which I am the only Black owned vintage rental business in the world, actually. So just to show up, loud and proud, they're just like, "Oh, I didn't expect that." But now with the etiquette program, I have been showing face. So that's also yay for me, if you will. And the reason why I say that is because I am okay with them seeing who I am out in the forefront. And I'm okay with things not going as they assume they will go, or I still am putting out a good product. I'm still, that 5-star business that you guys click on when you see reviews and stuff like that. It doesn't matter what race I am, and it shouldn't matter.
I agree.
Absolutely.
So basically, it's the thought process like I had with the names of my children.
Mm-hmm.
They click on because you have a superior product with an excellent service.
Mm-hmm.
And then you walk in the door and it's like, okay, here I am.
Mm-hmm.
And these two go hand in hand.
Mm-hmm.
So
It does.
it's the same concept.
Yeah.
That's my thought process behind it.
Yeah. And it was always like a surprise moment. Still until this day, because unless you click on the etiquette program, do you see like photos of me? But it's funny every time. They're just like, "Where's Ashley?" And I'm like, "I'm right here." Because my name is also, Ashley could be Ashley Fox. Ashley
Absolutely.
can be whomever.
Yes.
Yeah. So when I come in, I'm like, "Yeah, I'm Ashley," whatever. And they're like, "Oh, okay." So it's always a surprise. I think it's kind of comical. Actually.
So generally, when I'm speaking to people, if there's a problem within the business, I generally never even tell them who I am or that I'm the owner initially.
Mhm.
I'm normally when you talk down to me as an employee,
Mhm.
I'm normally the employee. I'll stay
Mhm.
the employee.
Mhm.
and I'll consult with the owner. I'll, relay your message to the
Absolutely.
owner.
Consult with the owner is crazy.
Same.
Yes.
Same.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Hold on.
Yeah.
So when I get the
I
emails
know.
that are talking about me like a dog,
Sure.
I'm
and
just
they're
picturing it.
saying that they should be more flexible in policy and this and that, I'm like, okay. I respond very nicely and, politically correct. But it's comical to me that you talk to me a certain way and you upheld this invisible owner to a different, you've upheld them, and the way you spoke with them through the email is with great dignity and respect, but you talked to me like I was crazy because you thought I was simply an employee.
Real life experiences. Today, I had a delivery before our meeting, and that was pretty much what I experienced via email. They were very pleasant, very accommodating as far as because it was the venue ordering the glassware, but when I show up, they were very rude, very very rude. I didn't expect to be handled like that, but they also didn't know that I was Ashley. They just saw me as a delivery person. And I did not say, hey, I'm the owner. You do know who you're talking to now.
Nope.
But no.
They
it's
need some
unnecessary.
etiquette classes, whoever they are.
You
and
know,
some-
we hold our breath and we just carry on with our day.
Because she is one of etiquette and grace.
Yes, we all are.
I've always been taught to what they say to treat the CEO and the janitor the same way.
You should.
Yes.
Very
Yes.
much so. Very much
And
so.
if you really want to be honest, the employees generally know the inner workings of how things work.
Mhm.
They're more in touch
Yeah.
than actually the actual owner
Mhm.
or the superior.
Mhm.
So you probably will get more information out of the employee
Mhm.
than you would the higher up.
Mhm.
Be polite, people.
Be polite.
Always. Always. That's why I tell my babies, and being polite in general will get you so far, so much further than any education would, it opens so many doors.
Listen,
Even my 4-year-old knows that.
my oldest
It's like-
son, he has mastered charisma.
Absolutely. Mine too.
He's always late. Always.
Just throw him under the bus.
He's always late. I used to get
After
my
the
team.
compliment.
Right. He's
I
charismatic
would
and
be in
late.
the car waiting on him to take him to the airport so he can get back to school. He would miss his flights because he's running late. Do you not know he's never had to pay?
Mm.
He has so much charisma,
Mhm.
or he's packed this bag to like capacity and it's like 100 pounds. And he's somehow talked these people into letting his bags get on the airplane for free. He's like, hey, listen, let me show you my GPA. I am just trying to do. So he is mastered that. And I always tell him now, I know you're finessing me.
Mhm. Mhm. That's how
You're
my oldest
charming
son is
me.
too. Oh, yeah.
Yes, I know.
And men get away with it. They say, "Oh, well, women can flirt and
No.
do this and that."
No.
Oh, men can definitely milk it.
Yes.
For sure.
I think so. I think a charming man
Oh,
could,
yeah.
could basically, because a man's going to respect another man and women
Mhm.
are going to just go along with the program.
Mhm.
Yes. Oh, I've seen it. We go to restaurants and he took us out for Mother's Day and I'm like, the bill is half what it's supposed to be.
Don't ask no questions.
No, I always fuss at him. I'm like, are you serious? He definitely has the charming bug. He definitely does.
I love it.
Shout
I'm
out
all
to
for it.
savings. That sounds like some savings to me. And you know me.
Oh yeah, for
to
sure.
save a
Good
coin.
job, Mom. I mean, I always, Chase. My oldest son, he's 12. He'll come and he'll say that, oh, I got some free cookies. Like the Girl Scouts, we were at Walmart and
They gave him
somehow
free cookies.
they gave him a box of cookies. I'm like,
And
how did
they
you-
want
'cause I
every
had- after
dollar.
I already told him no. He just
But they want every dollar for those Girl Scout cookies.
Yes.
so the mother paid for it. I'm sure.
Absolutely. She gave them to him.
He gets all my kids just if mom says no, they figure out a way. And
I
I
love that
can't
in them.
blame. I do too. But overall, he is very kind, very gentle, and he's big. He's a big boy. He's 12, but he's like as tall as me, and he is a very good kid. So when people do reward him, I
No,
can't
it's a
blame
part
them.
of
It's
it's a part of
earned. It's earned.
It's
it's a part
earned,
of
for
their
sure.
journey, and I don't
It
take
is.
that from him. I'm just always in awe because my
Mhm.
whole thing, I used to say, listen, I'm not buying another ticket. I don't know how you're going to get back. I don't know what's going to
But
happen.
he
Start
knew.
walking now.
He's like, I got it, mom. Don't worry.
And he would be
Don't worry.
like, just still take me to the airport, please. And I'm like, you're going to miss the flight. He never not got on the flight.
I love it. No, these are the children that we are building in our community, and we should be proud of that. Right,
Oh, I'm
ladies?
extremely proud of them. There's angst and things that I'm like, I grit my teeth, but
He
I have
gets it from you,
I have very balanced
whether
kids.
you want to admit it or not.
Oh, my sister, this is what my sister always says. She said, you guys are like oil and water because you're just alike.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I don't see it.
Okay.
And she goes down a list of things and she
She's
finds
like,
it
I got notes.
hilarious.
Hold on.
Right.
Yeah, she finds it hilarious because I'm like, oh my God. And she says, he's just like you. And I'm like, he really's not. She's like, he is.
Mhm.
She says he's a walking male version.
Okay. Yeah.
So I don't see it, but others do. But I'm extremely proud of him and the two others. I have three too.
Okay.
So I guess three is a magical number today.
Yeah.
So, Ashley, what is the mission behind the VPS etiquette program, and how does it aim to impact participants?
The overall goal is to change perspective. For instance, we went to the opera house, the Lyric Opera House, and we have a dress code. So the kids wear formal wear, and that's whether they're in the classroom or outside. And I just kind of wanted to prove a point. I wanted to show them Black excellence at a young age because we start at 4 years old. We had all the way up to 14 with us that day. But I wanted to show them that this is what we have to offer. I know what some of the kids are doing. I know whether they're Black, white, Hispanic, anything, any race. I know how children are out here behaving, but with proper etiquette and with kids learning the rules at any age, they can adjust to any type of social setting.
Absolutely.
And so just the idea of that's what inspires me is to that's the goal. That's all I'm trying to do. I'm trying to encourage the kids to be who they are, show their best selves in the social settings that are appropriate. I do not force them into behaving prim and proper at every situation because I know sometimes we're around our friends, we're in a more comfortable setting. We do what they do within reason. We're not disrespectful, we're not rude. We still have our manners. But we need to be able to turn that switch on and off when need be.
Did you go to etiquette class? It was called charm school when we were younger. Did you go to charm school?
I did not have that luxury.
Really?
I
went to
wish
charm
that I
school.
did. I wish that I did. Good old fashioned mom and grandma, great grandma. That's how it started.
And I asked because that's what got me into the dress code for being a woman, the heels, the detail to how I look. I remember them saying, "Girl, stop chewing with food in your mouth." When we were out, it exposed me to fine dining, and my mother went through charm school, so she was insistent that and they were a lot more formal then. Like they would tell me that gym shoes, my mother especially, gym shoes are not for girls. They're for they're unless you're in gym or a physical fitness setting, that would make you the gym shoe creeper.
Okay.
So yeah, she would say, "Oh no, I'm not buying gym shoes. I mean, you have a pair for fitness. I mean, are you kidding me? That's going to make you the gym shoe creeper. Women don't wear gym shoes. What sets you aside?" So it's those things that kind of shaped me today.
Now, it's funny that you say that. My mother was the same way. However, I was into sports. I was all things athletic. I was considered the tomboy. So these are things that she pushed on me, but I heard them. I just didn't.
Apparently.
I retained all the information. And the same with my students. They're retaining all the information, and the parents are contacting me like, Miss Ashley, you might want to lay off a little bit because, they encourage their family members to do the same. And we call them polite police, but we're not judging. However, I've been introduced to it at a young age, but it took me my older years to really appreciate it and understand what's necessary. Even to today, I'm like, wow, Ma. Like I called her like, Mom, like you are the epitome of elegance. And I never knew it because I was so busy giving her pushback on what I felt she was forcing on me.
It returns to the word of God. What you put in, what you deposit doesn't return void.
Mm.
So it never goes anywhere. Train
No.
a child in the way you should be. So it never goes anywhere. It's there.
It's there.
It's the foundation's there. One of the
Absolutely.
things that I pride myself on most is not the best schools my kids went to. It's their relationship with God.
Mm.
They had an
Mhm.
opportunity to go to church, be exposed to God. And even part of when they were being punished would be write a scripture out and we're going to talk about it.
Mhm.
And you know how long scriptures can be, especially Psalms.
Mhm.
So that was part of how I redirected them. And my son was probably 4, and we were in Bible class and he's just weeping. And I'm like, what the heck, kid? It's like only an hour. So I'm like, what's wrong with you? He says, I don't have on a suit and I have on shorts and Bishop's going to be mad at me.
Mhm.
I said, well, it's Bible class. You know, I had to take him up to, because he was so used to the formal wear for
Mhm.
church and there were church clothes, and I had to take him to the pastor and he's like, oh no, you're good. You look
Mhm.
really nice. You know, your school clothes, you look really fine. And he's talking to him. He had to talk him down because in his mind, he thought he had did something wrong.
Mhm.
So yeah.
I think it's beautiful that you were taught that, and even though you were an athlete,
Mhm.
you now have a whole etiquette program.
A whole
So it's
program.
like full circle.
Yeah.
But it was the time. It wasn't the time then. I'm a firm believer, and when it's time, it would be. And it just, like I said, my children is definitely something that sparked that buzz. But as far as just me in my womanhood, this is the moment.
Do
that
you
I'm
have
having.
siblings?
I was raised on my own. I'm my mom's only child, but I have other siblings on my father's side. Yes.
Okay.
Mhm.
Because I was going to ask you, did they get off into the etiquette too? But
Okay.
you were raised by yourself.
I was raised by myself.
Yeah.
So are your kids in sports?
My oldest son was into football, but he didn't take it these 2. He's been off like 2 years with football. Olivia Rose is a gymnast,
Mhm.
and
Oh, good
Mason
stuff.
is like a daredevil, so he's not into that type of sports.
He's just
but-
all over like, hey, I had one of those. Like, you know what? If this table looks pretty high, I'll jump and see what happens. Yeah,
Yeah.
I have one of those.
Yeah, and my kids are very heavy. All of them are very heavy on reading, which I love.
Yes.
Love. I'm not a reader. Funny.
So, you know how the oldest, Jesus, I remember thinking, this kid showed me something. I remember thinking that I couldn't punish him. I was like, I can't get
Oh
through
my
to him.
goodness,
Like, it's not
yes.
working.
Mhm.
I put him in the corner, told him time out. He's over there talking, having a good time. And I'm like, who are you talking to? He was like, I was talking to God. Oh, okay. So I'm like, yeah, that's not working.
Mhm.
I sent him to bed and he is laying in the bed reading a book. This made him become an avid reader.
Okay.
He's laying in the bed reading a book. And I'm like, he's supposed to be asleep. Go take a nap. You know what go take a nap means.
Mhm.
He would be reading. I would take his phone away from him or the computer. He'd pull over a book.
Because what are you gonna do about somebody reading a book?
Nothing. It shuts you
Nothing.
down. So he
You can't do
became
anything.
he
Yes.
became an avid reader. I remember my friends taking him to a funeral, and then she took him to somewhere else. One of their friends' parents passed, and then she had taken him to like Great America. She goes, "Girl, he didn't really enjoy himself. He read the book the whole time."
Mhm. Yeah. My oldest also, Chase, he carries a book around all the time. And people are just like, oh my goodness, he's reading. Because, most of the times kids have tablets, walking around with tablets or phones in their hands. And he's at the playground with his book, and he's in the car reading his book, and he's at home reading his book. And because of him being um, such a avid reader, my younger son Mason reads now. Olivia reads now. Or she doesn't read, but she makes up her own stories through reading for sure. But so she's on the verge of that. Just like Mason, we taught Mason the tools to read, but I did not know he knew how to read for a while. And my husband had to, because they're homeschooled. And so me and my husband take on the duties of teaching. But he had to tell me that Mason knew how to read. And I'm just like, does he?
My middle son
and he knows how to read very well.
My middle son is an avid reader, but that's expected of him because he's a middle kid. He does exactly what he's supposed to do when he's supposed to do it. He's extremely smart. I never really, he's always tested off the charts. I never really had to put really any energy into him. The youngest, I found out he was young. So he probably was about 4, maybe 5. He's telling on my oldest son. I come in, I'm on the phone and I'm talking and he's trying to get my attention. And he's like, yeah, mom. And I'm like, he's like, call me chocolate at the time. Chocolate. So he's talking to me. I'm like, hold on. Yeah. He's like, I got something to tell you. So he tells me, Jay has a girl in the house. So I said, how do you know? And he goes, because I can smell the perfume. And I'm like, I don't smell it. And I kept talking. So he comes back and he goes, Forever 21. Is that a girl or a boy store? And I said, it's a girl's store. He was like, I got him. That's how I found out he knew how to read. I said, where did you get that from? He said, it's in the coat. It's a jacket down there. That's how I found out he knew how to read.
Kids are phenomenal. And you said that was your middle?
That was my baby son.
Oh, your baby son caught. Okay.
The baby. I didn't know he can read to that degree. He came upstairs and was like,
they read when they want to read.
Chocolate. I got something, because I dismissed him. So he was trying to get his brother in trouble. And I was just like, yeah, beat it. He comes back and he's like, Forever 21. Is that a girl or a boy store? And I said, it's a girl store. Why? Where'd you get that from? He says, it's in the jacket downstairs. I told you it's a girl in the house. It was a girl in the house because he watched the cameras until she snuck out. But yeah, he was little.
Yeah. You want to add any?
No.
She's probably like,
fascinating story. I'm like,
she's probably like, he used to tell. I used to pay him actually to tell. He was a paid informant.
Well, my middle child, you don't have to pay him. He just automatically splurts out.
Yeah, and he used to send photos too. Like if he had company in the house while I was gone, he would send photos. And they would at work, they would be like, yeah, he's going down a well when you're not around. They're gonna get him. Yeah. And then when he became like maybe 10, he stopped wanting to tell on him and wouldn't take my money.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Well, you had a good run.
Listen, you need help with teenagers. You need help.
I'm not ready at
all. Okay. All right, Ashley. So can you describe the type of events that benefit most from your vintage place settings?
Weddings for sure. I just dropped off to a wedding. We definitely cater to weddings, I would say 80% of the time. And then that oddly it'd be like bridal shower. Well, I guess it kind of goes hand in hand. Bridal showers and baby showers would be like the next runner up.
I can see that.
Birthday parties?
Not so much. Because a lot of people still are utilizing the disposable ware and it's easier for them.
I could see that.
I see people using and I don't mean to cut you off. I see people doing like the tea party thing. So I feel like that maybe we should push more with that because I see that new trend with birthday parties with the younger crowd. The younger crowd.
But see, even with the tea parties, people, it depends on the demographics. It depends on who we're talking about. Our community are comfortable with the disposable items.
You can't have disposable items with a tea party.
People do it all the time. I've seen it done. I've had people rent just the teacups and saucers from me, and then they put it alongside plastic flatware and plastic plates.
The audacity.
Did you tell them that the etiquette of that was improper?
Nope. Because the etiquette of that is just to let them do as they desire.
Okay.
Well, you ladies out there that are having your tea parties, get the full setup.
Get the full setup.
It looks so much better on your Instagram pictures.
It looks better. It feels better. It's just
in reels and everything else. I'm like, oh, look at that. That's so pretty.
Yeah. I never pay attention. Now I'm going to be looking for that plastic where I'm going to be like, yeah.
That's paper. How dare you? I'm going to be Char's going to be in the comments.
Yeah, I'm going to be like,
shame.
And then I'm going to tag Ashley.
Right. Do you see this? I'm just gonna nod and smile because that's what I do. But I wish that. I mean, even myself before. I must contest that before owning the vintage business rental, I did not necessarily have to have the fine china and
So
flatware and stuff
depending on what
either.
party it is, if it's a have fun, we're gonna dance, depending on the venue,
Mhm.
and I'm probably going to have the finest, not paper china, but the china that looks like it's the plastic that
Mhm.
looks real.
Mhm.
I won't give certain people access to china because you'll be charging me because
Mhm.
they gonna break a cup,
Mhm.
when, drop a plate. But depending on if I can't see myself having a tea party and having plasticware. I
Mhm.
just paperware. I can't.
Yeah.
Doesn't go hand in hand. So I'm gonna get the cups and the saucers, and I'm like, yeah, we'll use these. No, we need the whole gimmick.
Yeah. I'm right there with you. And I
Yeah.
wish that more people thought like us, but they don't. But that's just because a lot of the reason sometimes is just they're not used to it. They don't know where to go sometimes for finding those items. They're used to having the plastic and the paper.
For a tea party,
Yes,
I just it just doesn't go. It's just fine china.
it does not.
It's
But
very
also, we
well
established
dressed.
earlier that you have a higher standard of things.
That's
Also,
true.
remember,
That's
so
true.
that plays a part. There things that we appreciate, others may not. So that's I've had to take a step back on things like that and just kind of say, these people, this is what they choose to do. And that's how even with just my clientele, I try to remind myself that their budget is not my budget and I have to respect that. And so if they want a certain type of look, then they need to find another vendor for that or another event planner for that because I can't accommodate that look. That's not where I am with,
And that's
my
fair.
designs.
That's fair.
Mhm.
So Ashley, do you prefer to have creative control when you do event planning or
Yes, ma'am.
okay.
Well,
Not to cut you
Alexa,
off, but
Alexa,
absolutely. I'm
How
screaming
often
right
do
here.
you get creative control versus
Always.
Oh.
Not always. Yeah. Pretty
So-
much always. And not to brag, but
that's good.
always. Hey, Tadara. I'm sorry. I just saw Tadara pop up. And I saw the Jamea. Hey, Jamea. Jamea is one of my clients as well and longtime friend, but she gives me creative control. And they do that because they see my work. They understand my vision. I'm very thorough with what I do. I put pride in everything that I do. And so with that, they give me that privilege. And it's easier for me to move around when I am in control. And I like being in control because I'm a perfectionist.
That's me.
So what feedback have you received from clients about the impact of etiquette and ambiance on their events?
On their events,
Do you incorporate the two?
not so much actually. Well, I have done events that require my rentals and whatnot, but not so much because I really like birthday parties are what I do for my event planning is more so. And then I also do like kids parties and stuff too. So it's not always appropriate to have it. And sometimes the budget is not appropriate either, just depending on like what we,
So
decide on what's important.
what type
and
of
what's not.
birthday parties would you not accept?
I don't want to be mean,
She
but
smiled, so you know it's coming.
no, because I'll do any birthday party. That's not the problem. The problem is the budget. So if the budget doesn't allow me to have creative freedom, then I won't do it. So if you come to me and you're like, I got 5,000, or if you have 500, I'll say that, I can't do that for you because that's a DIY. If you say you got 5,000 or more, then I can say, what is it that you need? And I
Who's
can work
spending
with that
$5,000 on a party in this economy?
more than you can imagine.
Really?
Yeah.
I can see for a bridal shower.
Most of my events actually start at 5,000.
Okay. I can see for a bridal shower. But for a birthday party, that's a really decent trip.
It is.
I think-
it can be.
I think that's like, is it more like the decade birthdays, like 40 and 50? You're not going to do that just for like, oh, I just turned 23 or 20.
Yeah,
Well,
I'm 41. Let me have a $5,000
right.
party.
Like, do you
Right.
see that more with those decade or like
But to
monumental
be honest, if you really
milestones?
think about it, by the time you incorporate all of the things that go into a birthday party, you're probably about 3 to 5 grand.
Absolutely.
That's what people don't realize is that if you actually took the like I document everything, and if you actually written down all your inventory and all your vendors that it does add up to that. And if you don't do these things like and take notes of what you're spending and saving the receipts and stuff like that, you don't realize how much you spend until you sit back like, oh, I spent a lot of money. But even
Yeah.
saying that you spent a lot of money does not make you realize that you spent thousands of dollars.
Now,
and
as
that
I was sitting
happens.
here calculating in my head what you spend, I was thinking, yeah, it's closer to 3 to 5 grand. You're not shoving it out at one time.
Mhm.
So you may not necessarily, it didn't click to me until I was adding, like, oh, that. Oh, okay, you meant 3 to 5 grand.
Yeah.
Easily.
And
That-
then when I'm sorry.
Okay.
And then when you hire somebody to do the work for you, then that comes with a cost as well. So that convenience is definitely
Absolutely.
That's what I was going to ask. So, because you have the fine dining rental, and then your event coordinating is, so are you using other vendors for things like, are you doing the full like backdrops, balloons,
so we're
the
a
whole
one-stop shop.
experience? Okay.
It depends on what service you're asking for, but the people that normally come to me and give me that creative control, they just let me do everything.
Oh, yeah, so-
me and my team rather. So it starts at event planning, then it goes to the design, and then it would be day of coordinator. So I do everything.
Yeah, so
And you don't
5,000
have
makes
to do
sense.
any.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
reasonable. But by the time
You're thinking tables,
But by-
backdrops,
but
balloons.
by the time you're finished with ordering all those things, I just walked back to my by the time
Yeah.
you finish with the table, the linen, the matching high quality dinnerware, the backdrops,
centerpieces,
the
flowers,
centerpieces, the
especially if you want some
flowers,
fresh flowers. Yeah.
the ropes, the backdrops, the stanchions.
And you
Yeah,
haven't even talked about the food and the alcohol. Well, if you have alcohol, the beverages, the
Yes.
venue.
yes.
Are you adding, you do those things too?
Yeah.
Oh, she's a one-stop shop,
Shop.
guys. Okay.
Stop.
Period.
I
Period.
mean, the entertainment. I mean, this is why that's why I say we start at 5,000, because I mean, we have entertainment. We bring it. It can get crazy, especially like prom. Like I took this year off for prom because I was overwhelmed. But for prom, we work with some very big budgets.
Oh,
and-
so prom,
Mhm.
I went a lot past that.
You see,
A
Yeah.
lot
It
for my
happens.
son.
it happens.
A
So,
lot past
it's-
that.
It sounds like a lot when you say the number, but when it
No.
comes down to it,
Because
you're definitely.
I was having anxiety at
10,000
some
above.
point about some of the things that was transpiring.
Mhm.
So no, it was a lot. It was a lot.
And there's a lot of things that go into it, especially leading up. I mean, you have photo shoots from the beginning, all the
Just-
details.
Just the roses that he presented to the young lady and her mother was a couple $100.
Yeah. It adds up
In order
so
to
fast.
do this whole prom proposal, then he had to rent a special car with a special color, and he
Mhm.
had to have this message and sing a tenor. It was a lot. So yeah, I start hyperventilating when I think about it.
Mhm.
It all turned out amazing.
Yeah.
But yes.
It always does. So that's the fun part. And then even things like adding premium items, like you said, roses, because you can use the fake roses or the fake flowers. You
No, we
could,
use-
but if you use the real ones, then that's going to come with a
The
different
ice
price tag.
sculpture for his prom
Different
was
price tag.
disrespectful.
Yeah.
An ice sculpture.
Oh, he had like
Oh,
6
Jesus.
cars. So yeah, it was unbelievable. The ice sculpture was I remember that being extremely costly.
I would think so
custom-
too.
I wanted custom bow tie glasses. Those were I remember just wow.
Mhm. But did you ever add that up?
I did at the time. So
At
that's
the
how
time
I
you
know
did.
the
Okay.
number. I did. I
Mhm.
remember just constantly putting everything in a folder in the
Mhm.
email and also the receipts that I was getting.
Okay.
So I know everything it cost because other than my sister and a contribution from my mom, I was in it alone.
Mhm.
So yeah, I know that it was extremely costly and it had gotten out of hand from what I imagined $2,000, but that's a drop in the bucket. That it was nowhere near there. That was the the prom introduction or whatever, the ask, that was around what that ended up costing me, because he wanted new clothes, he wanted a different car, he wanted this proposal thing, he wanted flowers, and it had to be special type of flowers, he wanted the long stem. So yeah, all of that, and then he wanted to make a weekend out of it. So yeah, it just gotten out of hand. It was I was glad to do it. I'm grateful that I had the opportunity to do it for him. And then he did not want a prom, so I shoved it down his throat. Yeah, he was like, "I don't want to go to prom." And I was like, "Oh, you don't have a choice." I'm thinking, "You're my first kid. We're not going to do this." But I will say that looking back, he's come to me and said, "Hey, I'm glad I wasn't born in COVID and I got a chance to experience prom." And my second son, I made him go to prom. I shoved it on him with one of a friend's daughters. So, and he went and had a great time, but his prom was canceled because of COVID. So he was glad. So they, kids, this message is for the children. We know best.
We do. I tell my son that all the time.
I know best.
Yeah.
So, Ashley, how do you define the connection between etiquette and empowerment in today's society? And I think we touched on that just a little bit. But
We touch on everything because we're
Yeah.
in a real good conversation.
my questions usually get answered before I ask them, and I love that.
So that means you're asking
Yes.
really dope questions.
Yeah, which is good. Ask me that one more time.
How do you define the connection between etiquette and empowerment in today's society?
Being able to walk into a room with confidence and knowing how to respect yourself and others in any type of situation, I feel like that's the most empowering thing or tool that you can have.
That's your superpower.
It's a superpower for sure. For sure. So many of us are in these situations where we just don't know what to do, how to do it, when to do it. And it makes us shrink, But with
Oh,
the
I couldn't
kids and with the
imagine.
adults, we teach them to keep their head high. We teach them to, speak up. We do not encourage mildness. We don't. We tell the kids to be bold. We tell them to be proud of whatever they are doing at the moment, and however they are doing it, be confident. Because even the kids, I tell them to fake it until they make it. Do what you can do, and as you grow, the more experiences that you have,
Do
the better
better.
you'll be at it. And that's okay. Like today, this is my first time doing a podcast or whatever, but
You're a natural.
I'm here.
Yeah, you're natural. It's
Oh,
the
thank you.
etiquette and the class and the grace. You're a natural.
She's going to be booked for interviews for the rest of the
I'm
year
winning
now.
it, but-
And you're winning.
Thank you so much. I love telling my side of the story, if you will, especially when I'm able to talk about myself, because I am proud of myself and what I have done and the way that I'm doing it. When I was younger, I was told that I had one teacher told me, like, you have such a good mannerism. And at the time I didn't, like I said, I was still in sports. This is the younger period. This is the younger Ashley. My mother instilled these things onto me, and I was doing things that I didn't even realize I was doing. I was exuding this confidence and whatnot, and I did not realize it until now.
And when you truly have an inner confidence, you can accomplish anything. When you truly have,
you
when you
are
said when you shrink in the room,
right.
I couldn't imagine. My son, we were talking, I was telling him, we were having a very similar conversation. I was saying to him, you have to be confident no matter where you are. And he's like, Mom, you're telling me, you're preaching to the choir. He goes, I've watched you go to football games and Christian Louboutins and fur coats. And when people are looking at you, you're looking at them like, why are you guys dressed like that? You don't know that you're stand out. You think that this is a standard that everyone should have. And I said, really, I don't think about them at all. He said, well, that's exactly my point. So yeah, I'm never, if they're looking or or I make them uncomfortable, it never bothers me because I already have my own standard and I'm in my own world.
Absolutely.
So, and I'm confident with my head held high that I don't even know where you're up to. What you're doing doesn't matter.
And it
So,
shouldn't.
yeah.
And that's definitely what we encourage.
I think that also that having that confidence, you absolutely needed that in sports too, though.
Oh yeah.
So that was
Oh yeah,
important.
for sure. I think that um that definitely helped me be a starting player just off bat. And I was telling my husband that. I was like, I had a bestie who played on the team as well. And she worked her hardest. She worked so hard and she just never really got to that starter position, if you will. She was always a bench player. And I thought about it now and I'm thinking about it now. And it's just like, I think if I didn't have the confidence that I had, that I would probably be on the bench and she would have been on that street. I mean, on that court. But this was with basketball. And I mean, really thinking back, she deserved the spot. Whether it was my spot or somebody else's, she really put her heart into it. She really tried. But because I had more confidence of her, and I was more
Courageous.
I would take chances. I would shoot more. I would, fake more. I would do the things that made me have more of an impact on things.
So
I did
I was
more.
going to tell when you were talking, I was going to say that you also have to have the courage in order to have the confidence. You have to have the courage first
Mhm.
because you have to take risk and do things and not care about what other people
Not
think.
care what other people think.
Yes.
And because when you're prepared, also mentally, when you're prepared, you can do all things.
Indeed.
And that's in simplest form. When you're prepared mentally, you can do all things. If you tell yourself you can do something, go out and do it because you can. If you tell yourself you can't do something or you're not sure if you can do it, then that's when everything goes wrong and
Yes.
things get complicated.
And people can weed out whether you have the confidence. They can sniff it out.
Feels like it.
It feels like it. Yeah.
Mhm.
And it's always the one person, the one little demon who can tell if you're not confident in a certain area. It's always they can read it. So energy will tell. So
Energy.
yes, energy
Energy is
will
a
tell.
thing.
It will tell.
Absolutely. So I do want to talk about, if we can, your partnership you have.
Okay.
Can you talk about that? Some?
Oh, with my second location?
Yes.
Oh, of course we can. So at St. Thomas in Hyde Park,
Yes.
what?
My kid kind of went there.
Really?
He went to Creative Mansion, so they would always do partnerships utilizing their programs and also utilizing their assembly. So we were there a lot.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. So this is a new partnership. So I'm really excited about it because we are in the West Loop. So Vintage Place Settings is located over by United Center over in West Loop.
Mm-hmm.
So this one is a Hyde Park location. And a lot of the parents have been asking, are you going to come to our city or whatnot? But because it is South, I can get some of the suburban kids and suburban parents.
I saw that on your page. I saw that. Yes.
We've gotten really good feedback on it. So I'm super excited. We start on June 22nd, everyone. We'll be starting there. I will bring over some of my students from our previous classes because it is a program. So we do ongoing classes. And I'm going to invite them to come over and show, the other kids, encourage them, this is what we learned. And it's so funny because my kids, not to sound like this, but they love me and they love the program.
Yeah.
So they want to be there. And normally it's not like that with, Charming School and with etiquette classes and things like that. They find it, not as fun and
well,
whatnot.
initially we do. You
then when you get into it, it's
you
better.
get into it.
Okay.
And you see the difference. You start noticing the difference between how you perceive things and what other people, your peers, are doing. And it just gave me like superpower. I was just like, these people having a clue. And it also made me feel like a young adult. It made me feel a little older than I really was.
Absolutely.
So I ran with that.
Yeah. And I think with the kids wearing our dress code, I think they automatically, when they put them clothes on, they act accordingly. And I love that. And it's like, don't bring those kids without dresses and just suits on because I don't know how they're going to behave. If you do, let's keep it formal.
Do you teach them how to walk in heels?
No, I do not.
So
I do teach them how to walk. And I teach them the confidence of it and, holding your head high and making sure that your shoulders are square and things like that. But not with heels. Maybe for my teens, I'll introduce that to them.
My mother was one that only wore heels.
Mhm.
And I remember thinking, oh my gosh, she's the greatest. And parents need to really realize that kids watch us. They
All the
don't
time.
do what we say, they do what we do.
Absolutely.
Because my mother, I was in love with my mother and my second grade teacher. They were the baddest women I'd ever seen before.
Mhm.
They wore heels, they dressed nice, their nails were always together, their hair was always together. They drove, had the nicest clothes, the best cars.
Mhm.
And I love that, and had great careers. So I
Mhm.
really love that. And I remember them teaching my mother. I would see her and I was like, I'm going to master those heels. And I had to be about 7.
Mhm.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I think that the heel thing is, and I haven't let them go
Ever since, huh?
since.
Even with
Okay.
broken toes, you have to just admire Char's
some-
dedication to her
Hey,
her
listen,
red
that's some
bottoms.
dedication.
Yes, I broke my toe, and I still was putting on heels. Crazy.
That's all right. That's all right.
Yeah.
It's a lifestyle at this point.
It's a
right?
lifestyle. And how was
is.
I going to dress with that ugly boot? And yeah, I just wouldn't do it. That boot was just taking me out.
I get it.
Yeah.
I do.
See?
And with etiquette, I think that and I know that you spoke on, the beauty side of etiquette, but the social aspect of it is just as defining as that beauty too.
Absolutely.
It's just as defining. So no matter what you pull from etiquette, it suits the masses.
Absolutely.
And because I'm able to reach more kids with the second location, I am ecstatic. I have a goal of reaching 500 households in our community, and not 500 kids or 500 adults, 500 households. So even if it's like siblings, it's a group of siblings, it's only one household.
Ashley,
So
you're going to do that and then some.
I
You
appreciate
have
that.
what's the age parameters with your program?
So with the program, it's 4 to 14, but I work with teens and adults as well.
Because you have Kenwood right down the street,
Mhm.
and I'm sure that that's going to drive some things home. You have all of the churches in the area. You have apostolic, you have apostolic faith. So you have these programs, because when my children were younger, our church provided so many different programs: horseback riding at a discount, tennis. My kids learned how to play tennis, music, violins, saxophone. So I am thinking you're probably going to need a third or fourth location.
I would love that. This is not new. We started in August. We have classes every 2 weeks. And because I still own the vintage rental business, so I still, maintain that as well. But with having that, or the amount of classes that we had so far, it's really just word of mouth. And now that I'm trying to get out more and see more and have more opportunities, I've always been open to working with different organizations, schools, churches, whatever it may be. But, everyone's like in my ear, like, yeah, you should do this, you should do that. And I'm like, of course I should, but then it's the marketing part and actually like the time that it takes to go out and do these things. But I am dedicating more time and more energy into spreading out the word, or not spreading out the word, but because I am getting the word spread by the different word of mouth opportunities, but I'm going to try to initiate more.
I have 2 little girls who I would love to sponsor into your program. They're both of my girlfriend's granddaughters, and they're the same age. They're 7 or 8 or something. They're in there 7 or 8. They're going to be 8 this year. They need to be in that program. They're already such little ladies, but
every class I introduce a new theme. We have a class tomorrow, and that is, what is that? The power of no. The power of no. So we're going to work on boundaries. And this was actually a class that was encouraged by a parent. I like to take their ideas, see where they are with their children in school. School is we're going to be letting out soon, but as of now, in school, at the home, and things like that. And I try to implement those different things that are common into the lessons. We decorate. We have like different themes. Sometimes we dress differently. Like if it's like for Halloween, we did like all black. Everybody wore all black. Like it's so cute. It's beyond me, but we just have such a good time. And we play games. We do a lot of hands-on things. We do 1 hour of hands-on learning with social etiquette. And then the second portion, we do 1 hour with dining.
So what's the largest class you had?
The largest class that I had outside of in my program or outside of my program? Because in my
Either.
program it's 12. We cap it at 12 children due to space.
Okay.
Outside I've done 37.
Oh, perfect.
But I can do even more, trust me. I just need
Now that you have the new
the
space.
opportunity. Since I have the new actually the new space is larger. It is larger. And so that's another reason why I am super excited about that location. So please visit us at St. Thomas.
I was going to ask, because you already answered the question, of course. So you are open to expansion with other schools?
Absolutely.
I
All
think-
organizations. The more, the merrier. Like I said, I'm on a mission and I'm trying to reach 500 households plus. I also do one-on-one classes as well. I come out to the families' homes and I introduce etiquette to them. Mostly dining, but I can also do social etiquette as well. Business etiquette.
I have a question for you.
Yes.
The dining etiquette
Mhm.
and social etiquette
Mhm.
not probably, it should be extended into young adulthood,
Mm-hmm.
because if they've missed it,
Mm-hmm.
it still will be beneficial for them to take through life.
Absolutely. The problem that I've been having is that when I put out the teen opportunities, no one signs up. So
You have to send it to the parents.
send it to the
We
parents.
we have to do a whole campaign on this, because we had Donna Williams from Leveled Up University.
Yes.
And I know she's doing, I don't know if it's called Charm School, but I know she has a program.
So it's not charm school. It's it has similar characteristics, but it's not a charm school. So I don't know, maybe she'd be open to partner. She's going into the schools, and I believe hers starts at 6th grade. She's going into the schools and she's teaching them, conflict resolution, how to dress, how to, that kind of thing,
Mhm.
so that they're not. She wants a certain demographic. I can't. I think she said. Did she say 6th grade?
I
think
know she was
trying-
starting with the middle school, and I think
Yes.
that's super important, because if they do miss it, like, because I mentioned that, I said, well, I learned how to walk in heels as a rapper, so performing in heels. So and it's not on
And
video.
believe it, I was
never
in
fail.
like 3rd grade. I was in 3rd grade and I had mastered it, baby.
Mastered it. Okay. Okay.
But I'm just saying, like, even having some of that, like, at some point would have been a little bit more easier for me, because you go from just walking and I'm learning how to walk and I'm actually performing in heels is insane
So
to learn on your own.
I was thinking, when I was asking her to go younger, I think I was thinking from probably professional aspect, that if you got them younger and you taught them, like, I didn't go out and fight and get my face scratched up. That wasn't what young ladies do.
Right.
So if I learned that at 2nd and 3rd grade, by the time I'm in 5th or 6th grade, I am not partaking in any of
For
that.
sure. Well, that's why I started at 4 years old.
Yeah, I'm not.
My
I'm not
daughter was
doing
3
it.
So
when she started.
she starts young,
Yeah, but
and
that's what I was asking.
and Donna
So,
is
middle
starting
school,
at
she
middle
was like,
school.
yeah.
Yeah, we got to
Okay.
get you guys together.
Yes.
You guys got to partner up and take over Chicago. It's needed.
And I am open tolerant.
It is needed.
The more the merrier. All I want to see is that we make a change. That's my main focus.
Yes, we first need to start making a change with morality, though.
That's true.
And that was something that I spoke on as well when we did have Donna on, was that if you're not ever taken out of the space in the home than what you're used to, you how would you ever even know that it's a
so-
possibility?
So you see it on television, you see it on the internet.
Well, if you're not
Not
watching
al-
it,
you
and
know,
we don't see
you
it on
don't always
television
question-
anymore.
Well, you don't. Well,
Really.
definitely that too.
We had the
It's
Cosby
ratchet
Show.
TV.
We had.
We had,
Yes.
and that's the problem. We don't have that. We don't see that visually. The things
Yeah.
that are at our disposal, especially since the world is cyber everything. We don't need the manners because we're talking to people online. We're not face to face with them. We
You
don't need
still
the
need the
conversation.
manners.
We do, because we know we do. But I'm speaking like,
But
this
they-
is what they assume.
but I think they'll understand that you'll accomplish more if you're speaking with manners and with respect and with grace,
they don't understand. it
even
at
as
all.
you're typing.
They
Have
don't
you ever
understand
read an
and they
email and you're
don't
like, oh my
care.
God, I had to walk away from an email and come back,
Oh yeah.
because I was like, this person had to have the worst spirit ever comprising this email.
But you have the training, you have the mindset of someone different.
I
Everyone
don't know.
does
I don't
not.
win every battle.
You should.
But
You would assume, and I would assume that people would know better, but you don't. Not all the time. Some people, if they don't have the background, if they don't have the experiences, if they don't have those things, they lack in those areas, and that's why we have etiquette classes, and that's why we took the kids to the lyric opera house, because when will they ever have the chance to do that?
So, and when you were saying that, I was thinking the picture that I have of my children in my hallway wall was the day I think Lawson was 2 and Jonathan had to be 8, and they went. We spent the summer there. They were all dressed alike, and it was really nice. The picture I have on the wall of them, they were all dressed alike, and we went to. I started taking them. I bought season tickets, but it's got to start. Even if you're teaching them, maybe they'll still have a chance with balance. If you're teaching them etiquette and they're going home and it's ratchet music and it's a different man or a different woman, and their communication consists of low vibrational words,
Mhm.
it's going to be kind of hard to overcome that.
Well, that's why I was saying if it's introduced, because if you grow up in that and you're never even introduced to seeing anything beyond that, you will be stuck in that mindset. And I'm a testimony to that. I would be stuck in a specific mindset based off of how I grew up had I never experienced anything beyond that. So my first ever experience with fine dining or having a formal dining room, I was in foster care. I would have never experienced that had I never had that Sunday dinner. And this is, what is this fork? What is that?
So
Why is there so many plates?
w-
I was so
I
confused.
wish
This is
that
your
I had
water glass. So that's why I said it's super important for these programs, especially in those areas that they may never experience
I
it.
really wish that I'd have kept the china set. We got these expensive china sets when I was a kid. Like it was probably a couple hundred pieces,
Mhm.
and they were boxed like real china. They were real china,
Mhm.
and I kept them for a long time. I don't know what happened to them, but my mother invested in this china set for me. I really wish I knew then the value, and I would have kept up with it.
Mhm. And the children in my program, they use our china and our glassware. My 4-year-olds, they know how to hold the glasses by the stem. When you are in situations and you have the tools, like you said, you what is it they say? You know better, or
When you know
you
better,
know
you
better,
do
you
better.
do better.
Mhm.
And that is so true. If
I-
you don't know, you just don't know.
So can you share with us a memorable experience where your services made a significant difference in someone's life?
Every event that I've ever done, I the day of, now leading up to the event, it is chaotic, stressful, all the things. However, and my my husband would actually vouch for this. When the event is going on in the beginning, I'm seeing the things, all the details that I planned out, the months of planning, everything being aligned, everything working out the way that I, for the most part, envisioned it. Because no event is always exactly how I envisioned it. Now, to everybody else, it's perfect, but to me, it's like it's missing this little detail, it's missing that. Nobody would ever be able to tell, but I do.
I get it. I
Internalize
get it.
it. We're on the same page again.
I get it.
But after I breathe, and like toward the end of the event and days after, I can always say that everyone appreciates what we do or what we have done, the service that they were provided with, and bringing their vision to life. And that's always my goal. So I have always been successful in that thus far. And I would say that, like, all those experiences collected with clients who have taken my services and allow me to have that creative control, I feel like that I have done them justice at the end of the event. And that makes me happy. And that seeing them happy makes me even more happy. So I
That's
think that those
beautiful.
would be the most
It is.
successful.
So I think this question is super important because you are, as you stated earlier, the only
Mhm.
woman Black-owned business in vintage.
Yeah. What
What was it that you said? One of them that you were
Mhm.
only.
So I'm the only Black-owned vintage rental business in the world.
in the world.
In the world, yeah. So black, a woman or male,
Okay,
Yeah.
so just general.
in general.
Perfect.
I like
Yes.
that.
So, what advice would you give to someone looking to start a business in the event planning or etiquette industry? What advice would you give yourself?
Give myself,
Because you're the first. You're the only.
well, yeah. So I would say do the things that have never been done before and be okay with it. Do your absolute best and take whatever comes with it and enjoy the ride, I guess I would say. Because I didn't know how to own or even buy a business at that point because I've always had my own. So when I was introduced to the opportunity to buy vintage place settings, I was like, I've never done that before. And my husband's like, well, it was given to you, it must be a sign. And so I thought about it. And
I
I'm like,
love the
"Okay, let's do it."
support.
Oh, he's very supportive. He is. He's the yin to my yang. I'm the one that's like jumping off the yeah, and he's more like reeling it in, like, make more sense of it. But he also knows that whatever I set my mind to, I do. And he's okay with letting me take those risks.
That
So
makes for a
that's
great
always good.
partnership.
You have to have that
It
support.
is.
You gotta
It
have
is
it.
Such a good. It really is, and he knows that I love every minute of it. So, and he's very supportive. Like you said, he helps me when I need to be helped, and he steps back when I don't need help.
I love that.
Is he helping loading the trucks up and
All the
things?
time, yeah, because he's the
Perfect.
man. So in etiquette,
That's what I mean. That
in
goes
etiquette,
there.
I let him do the things he need to do.
And that's what I mean when I stated the family feels the pressure.
Mhm.
Because you're like, come on.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. I mean, even the babies and my boys, I mean, everyone joins in. They understand when mommy has work to do, then if I need the help, then they jump in and help me.
Yes.
So
That's super important.
My kids have been in class so many times they can teach it.
mhm.
Yeah.
My kids too.
Yeah.
They're always with me. And like my daughter's like, is this a family meeting? Because I say, well, you can come with me to this meeting if it's for families. So like I can bring the kids. But no, this is not a family meeting today because she would have been sitting right over there with her little microphone and she would have been telling it all because she is Miss Etiquette, okay? Because she will tell you in a minute.
You
"That's
should
not
have
proper
brought her. That would
etiquette."
have made it so much more interesting.
Ooh, it would have made it interesting for sure. Miss
said it-
Olivia Rose, she's a different character.
We'll have to have Olivia Rose
We need
By
Olivia
herself.
come
She
back.
needs a whole
She needs her own
segment
show.
herself.
Tell
for
Olivia
sure.
she's invited to the Super Business Women Show.
Absolutely.
She's gonna come in. She has to have the super businesswoman attire on too.
Exactly.
And she will be appropriate. Perfect. You laugh, but
Now
She's
we
the
want to
real
see
So, no,
her.
I'm laughing because I know it's true, and I'm envisioning.
We wanna
it.
see her.
I love it. So let's talk about what you have coming up. Let's plug all your upcoming events. What
Okay.
you have going on.
So the next event is the June 20. Well, not. the
Well, you
next
have one
event.
tomorrow.
I have someone tomorrow, and then I have one every 2 weeks that follow that. So there'll be one on June 1st, and that is our self-care etiquette lab, and we have some materials sponsored by Ulta. So we'll
good
be
stuff.
So that was like our first little collaboration with that. And then on
Is that filled or is registration still open? for that one?
registration actually has not been open. I don't
Okay.
open a registration until after. So Sunday night registration will be
For the
open
next
on
one
the
will be
website
open.
for the next
Okay,
one.
so the next one after tomorrow, because tomorrow's obviously closed.
Mm.
So the
June
next one's June 1st, and the
Mhm.
registration will open
Tomorrow night.
tomorrow night.
Mhm.
Okay, we want the listeners to know
Absolutely.
because that's fun. So let's talk
Yes.
about that self care. What's this
the
consisting of?
self-care etiquette lab. And in my mind, we are going to do like a scientific like theme. So the kids are going to have the lab coats, and we're going to work on hygiene and confidence and how we have to take care of ourselves to make sure that we can take care of others and things along those lines.
I love it.
That's exciting.
It is.
Yeah. So I
Especially
didn't mention that we have girls and boys. Did I mention
yes.
that? Yeah,
yes.
we do girls and boys the same.
And boys need that because
Oh,
they go
they
through that
do.
stage where
That
they don't
stage is-
believe that bathing is important
Absolutely.
and hygiene is a myth.
yeah.
And you're starting at age 4.
age 4. Age
Perfect.
4 to 14.
Oh my! I want to know. Maybe I can get Braxton in there. My nephew.
Shara's gonna fill your classes. up.
Yes.
Please do. I'm here for it.
I just thought about it. Braxton
for it
is
all.
4, and his birthday is May 22nd. So will his TT be getting him a place in your class?
Mhm.
I am going to work on that.
I
Yes.
appreciate it.
That's exciting. So we have June 1st, and then what's next?
Then the June. Well,
Well, you have them every 2 weeks.
every 2 weeks for the program. But then what is planned so far will be the June 22nd, and that's at the second location at St. Thomas.
I love it.
So at St. Thomas, is that open or is that specifically for the students of the school?
It's open.
Oh.
It is geared toward the students of the school because also in the fall, I'll be teaching their after school program as well. So I'll have the etiquette after school program there. That's in the fall. But in the summer, we're going to introduce it to the parents in the community and the kids in the school so that, we can already be, on that little path. But we have been introducing it to the students first. I'm going to introduce it to my people and we'll go from there.
So what's the capacity going to be for that location?
For that space,
Mhm.
we can do 50 kids.
Yeah, they can.
Perfect. You guys, where can they sign up for anything and everything?
Any and everything would be vintageplacesettings.com.
Vintageplacesettings.com, people.
Mhm.
What about look, I'm done with my questions because you answered
So I had a
Please, Shark.
the segment that I was
I'm
going to
here
talk
for
about
it.
in love was, does marriage have the same staying power? Does it have the same zest? Does it have the same power that it once did? People looked at marriage with respect. We looked at marriage with envy. We looked at marriage with, thinking of all things God. And if you said you were married, that got you in the door sometimes that being single wouldn't.
Mhm.
And it all ties in, as I was sitting here thinking, we need the structure and the families to come back together that would help with the etiquette.
Mhm.
If you can't be what you don't see,
Mhm.
as you guys were saying. So, in reading online, one of the young ladies who had a baby with a singer and the other one had a baby with a basketball player, and she was one of many people who had a baby with these people. She stated that she would rather be a baby mother than an ordinary wife, a wife of an ordinary man.
Mm.
We got to dig deeper into the psyche of people, because if they continue to think like that and they're aspiring to be a baby mom and they think that being a wife is somehow simplified, disrespectful, and ordinary, then
Mhm.
we have a problem.
That's because what they glorify on the internet. I think it's more popular, more trendy to be that type of woman. It's not very encouraged, like you said, the Cosby Show. All they took all those things from us, those opportunities to show us what that two parent household looks like when we are single parent families. So I think that because of that, because we don't value it as much in public or on social media, especially, like that doesn't exist on social media at all, and that's where we live, on social media.
And I think it was Mother's Day when I said I detest the name baby mama. I detest
I made a
it.
joke,
Yeah.
Shar. It was
No,
a song.
No,
But
it was
I
the
know.
truth. I mean, we sling it around like it's no big deal.
Yeah.
Who aspires to be a baby mother? And you better not refer to me as somebody's baby mother. I was someone's wife when I made children. Are you serious right now? So we got to change our thinking. We have to dial it back and add that into the mindset of the curriculum with etiquette.
I think reality TV has played a huge part in the mindset of some of the young women when it comes to aspiring to be a baby mama opposed to being a wife. Reality
even-
TV, absolutely. Basketball Wives
But basketball wives that were married or
were
Yeah,
married.
right.
None of them were actually
husband was just
married
telling me
at
that.
the
They're not even
time.
married
the
anymore.
Jackie lady was married. right?
she?
Jackie, Shawnee was Shawnee
No,
was
they
married.
were. These are
She was still
they. It
married.
should
The
have
older lady.
technically been ex-wives because majority of them were either ex-wives or they had children with basketball players. But that's like, in my opinion, the starting foundation with reality TV when you started seeing that become a trend, and now it's not. You don't see reality TV of that I know of that's pretty popular or that's on Facebook or social media that's portraying a family. You're not seeing that. You're seeing everything but that.
Yeah.
And television. I it's so hard. Like, I don't watch TV and I don't watch movies. It's really hard for me to find something that I like that's on television. But even if you look at like the categories, a majority of them are broken homes or they're become broken homes in the storyline, and that's what's being fed.
Mhm.
Okay. Divorce is definitely something that shouldn't be glorified. It's detrimental. It's disheartening. It's difficult. It's sad.
Mhm.
It's disruptive. It's low vibrational.
Mhm.
So that's something that shouldn't be glorified. However, it's a reality.
Yeah.
Mhm.
You know,
Of course.
more times than 50% of married people end in divorce. So I get that, but I don't get where we start at the very bottom. We start aspiring at like -5 as opposed to +10. So these girls are growing up not knowing, but then too, the church is watered down because in church, with our structure, were just supposed to be married. Like you were groomed, you dated. Everything you did because you were trying to be pleasing to God, because he tells us it's better to marry than to burn. I just need some advice as to how to get us back on track, our community, because that's what sustained us. That's what held us down in the 50s and the 60s. That's what got us through slavery. It was the structure and what we found to be important. Our
It starts in the home. It starts inside the home. If we are introduced to being a better person, for the lack of better words, if you're introduced to that in the home, you seek that further out when you go and do the things like getting married and having relationships, and you look for a certain quality of person, and you move differently. But it's not encouraged in the home as much as it used to be. We have a lot of parents who are having children, or a lot of adults having children who aren't parents,
Mm.
and
that
they
too.
don't take that time, they don't take that energy. Or I think it also, like I said, it is inspired by what they see on the outside, in which a lot of that is social media, and adding to that and not having anything in the home, we don't have much to go off of.
Because I was thinking, you get to be 26, 27 in the church and you're not married. We're starting to like, hey, what's going
Help
on?
you.
So there,
Mhm.
I don't understand. Like I'm stuck at how to get us back to where we were, where our foundation was a community, and you built community. You were a family. You were able to survive. Just think about how we were in the 60s with the thriving businesses and the structure of the homes. That's what got us through the most troubling times. It's watered down now. You want to be a baby mama, you want to have inches, you want to have 15 names on your mailbox. Every kid got his own last name and his own daddy.
Mhm.
I struggle with that.
We are singled out. We like to be alone. I feel like we don't have that community structure anymore. I see what you're saying. We don't go outside for help outside of our household, because what we do in our household is how it's done. We don't ask for the community. We don't. Some of us don't belong to churches. Some of us do not have positive groups that we can connect with. When the kids act out in school, they get in trouble for disciplining the child, the teachers, and
Which
the
I used to get tore off in school, so I don't
yeah.
understand.
Yeah.
Like,
So all of that has been I mean, even my husband in the jail, when he worked in the jail, he spoke about how that the inmates have more of a privilege than, you know,
You preaching to the choir.
So, it's way society is now. I don't know how to fix that. My contribution to that is to teach the etiquette classes, to put those kids in different situations to where I can encourage it, because that's the best that I can do. With the parents being like-minded in this community that I've kind of created. It's pretty much a community, because these are a group of people who are coming to me to learn a certain, thing. And because of that, we are able to expand out of that. So maybe, this is going to help create a larger community. And with the kids practicing their etiquette and being polite and using their manners now, that will expand and kind of go out further.
I can only
And-
pray.
A part of the solution here is honestly to have VPS etiquette program in every school. We need to promote and push these types of programs.
Well, so along with etiquette, you have to have a mindset of structure, a family structure. Your family structure can't be you aspiring to be a stripper or a baby's mama. So
Call them a
Okay.
spicy ballerina.
spicy.
But some of these kids that some of the kids that are in this community, they have those parents who are the strippers. But the strippers know that there is a better living for that child, so they put them into the program and they try to change that cycle.
That's breaking a generational curse, and I
Absolutely.
love that, because I'm one that's doing that myself,
Yeah.
because I didn't grow up in a 2-parent home,
Mhm.
but mine are.
I didn't either, but here I am married.
Well, I started out in a 2-parent home. They just got divorced.
Well, you got to at least experience it.
Oh, I got to experience it. It was my level of standard. And my mother explained to us, that that's not the way it's supposed to be. And this is how you aspire. And, we at church and that kind of thing. So, you can change, but we need to change our mindset. It's
We do, for
extremely
sure.
troubling.
I'm in agreement with that.
It's
for sure.
it's extremely troubling that when these girls, these young women, and the men, the boys too, they're aspiring to have baby mamas and be baby daddies,
Mhm.
as opposed to being a wife or husband and a father. Because if you can only contribute here and there, and you have kids everywhere, Nick Cannon.
Mhm.
I think a lot of young people should have like a field trip to family court,
The dude that's on trial.
and they might understand.
No, I don't think they will. I don't.
No, a field trip to family court.
Because some of them have been to
A
family
full-
court. and they
no, I said
continue to-
no, before they even get to that point. Like before it should be a part of health class or something. I don't know. It needs to be incorporated. Have them
the
take
fool
a
that's on
field
trial,
trip.
the man that's on trial, 7 kids, 6 baby mamas. It's glorified. Is what I'm saying. And I don't think amount of family court can make
No,
them
if
think.
you sit in family court all day, you're going to look at
I-
things a whole lot different, especially
No,
as a
you
young
have
person.
to have a mindset to look at it different.
I think even childbirth, watching childbirth can.
So I'm gonna tell you
put
about
that
childbirth.
in the schools
You
too.
forget about
No.
childbirth.
I mean to the young women.
No, I'm saying though, but it only stays in there, even with us, because you wouldn't do it again.
Mhm.
It only stays in your mind. God has this way of like sweeping it away, because if you really thought about how difficult and bad it was, it messes up your body, changes your
Mhm.
chemistry. My shoe size is different, my attitude, my mood. If you thought about everything that went into motherhood, you probably, especially from getting pregnant, throwing up, being sick, not being able to keep anything down. I remember throwing up through my nose every time I've ever
But
experienced.
see,
that in
that's what
life.
I'm saying. If
But
that's
you forget.
She managed to have
no,
3
I'm talking about
kids.
to the
I managed to do it again
I
and
mean,
again.
to the younger girls. That's what I'm saying. You tell that. Like, I don't. If anyone ever asks me that's pregnant and it says, "How was childbirth?" or I will tell you exactly
Yeah, but I'm saying
the
that
truth.
it's not going to have a real impact, because if it did, you and I wouldn't have kept doing it. I would have stopped at
Because
number
you're
1.
talking to them.
I was being
telling
fruitful,
them, and
first
they're going to go
off.
the opposite way.
This earth needed help.
They
My
did. They
contributions
needed
I'm
my
proud of.
babies, and they needed some male babies. Even though I wanted they wanted some male babies. But
People will do what they're going to do.
Absolutely.
We can only plant the seed. We can only
And
encourage.
she's
That's-
right.
That's all we can do. Unfortunately, as bad as we want things to turn around,
But you know what? You can only do what's in you. And
Yeah.
unfortunately, DNA plays a part in that heavily too.
and background and
DNA.
their
Even
where's
kids
their
that never
upbringing?
saw their mother and then never was around their father, they have the same mannerisms, the same habits.
Mm,
Yeah, when I did that study, I was blown away by that.
mm,
So some things you can't change. It's DNA.
And Ashley, you were concerned about 2 hours of talking, and look at us where we are. I do want to thank you, Ashley, for sharing your
Yay.
inspiring journey and the
Absolutely.
elegance that you bring to every event. Your dedication to etiquette and empowerment truly sets the table for success. I like those.
That
Yeah,
was
some bars.
super cute. I'm gonna have to steal that. Well, thank you for having me. I did enjoy myself. I cannot imagine having a different first experience other than with you ladies. So thank you very much.
Yay.
Oh,
Let everyone know where they can find you and include those social media because that's actually how I found you.
Okay. So pretty much vintage place settings with an S anywhere, like on Facebook, on YouTube, or not YouTube yet. We're gonna work on that. Instagram. Yeah.
And we'll tag you on everything so that all of our listeners can go ahead and follow you as well.
Okay. And get those babies to my class. Contact me for any information that you may need on the program or even one-on-ones for teens and adults.
Wonderful.
it's beneficial, people. It's Shar Unlocked, Love, Loans, and Lifestyle. Thanks for tuning in to the Super Business Women Show this week. You can find me if you're looking for a conceal and carry class at 844-426-6232 or JBL Training Academy on social media, Instagram and Facebook. And everything else, you can find me under the Char Lewis at gmail.com or under all social media platforms, YouTube, IG, and Facebook.
And you can find me on Facebook, Alexis Arce, all social media at CEO Lexi Couture, www.couturemusicmgmt.com. We want to thank you for tuning into the Super Business Women Show. We will see you next Saturday, 3 to 5 p.m.
And you can find Crystal Lewis, our other co-host. She's on.
She's playing hooky.
Yeah, she's playing hooky.
We're going to tell on her.
Power Circle Investments, and she's Crystal Lewis on all social media platforms. I don't have the number, but she's under powercircleinvestments.com. And Crystal Lewis, LEWIS, under all other social media platforms.
And you can always follow us at the Super Business Women Show on all social media as well. And you can find the links to all of our pages there as well. We will see you next Saturday, 3 to 5 p.m. Thank you again for tuning in. Thank you for our special guests for joining us. You guys have a beautiful weekend.
Be safe and thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next Saturday, 3 to 5
on Intellectual Radio.